We learn from elders. We learn from survival. We learned from each other. For trans guys. Wisdom you can feel. Real talk. Collective care. Hello and welcome to For Trans Guys. My name is Megan.
I'm JJ.
And I'm Raven.
And Zander is somewhere in the Ethernet, but their video and microphone is not working at this moment. So if they pop in unexpectedly, it's a gift from all of the people that make the internets work. Zander already knows you, but our listeners don't know you yet. Raven, will you give everyone a brief introduction about who you are and what brings you to the table today?
Okay, well, I'm a transgendered intersex person, and intersex trans man, and I'm a Northern tradition shaman, which means I practice the shamanism of Northern Europe, of my ancestors. I'm also a minister in my pagan church. I'm a kink educator and an alternative relationship educator and a trans educator and a disability educator and an organic farming educator. And I live on a little homestead in Massachusetts with my two partners, my wife of 34 years, Bella, who's a trans woman, and my other partner, Joshua, of 23 years, who's a trans man. And so we have a revolving array of various roommates who queer refugee roommates and so forth who come and go, and a variety of animals at different times, from chickens and ducks, and for a while we had sheep and goats and that kind of thing. And I'm on 19 acres of land, which I love, and very bound to the land spirit. And I'm an animist and I'm an astrologer. And I just finished book number 49. I'm an author. So book number 49 just went to press, and I'm starting on 50. So, and I'm going to turn 60 in November, and I really want to get 50 by 60. I want to have 50 books published by the time I'm 60. That's one of my big goals. So there we go. That's.
Well, I was going to say that's an amazingly long list, but if people are as old as I am, I remember that Zander and I, when we were very newish in our personal trans identities, I remember us watching a film together that included you in it. Are you willing to share about that with people?
I've been in multiple films. Which one were you talking about?
It was a documentary about your family and your life together. Was it Transgender Menace or was it another one? Was it around that same time?
Was it the one about being a parent, being transparent?
It could have been, yeah.
Where I talked about having a kid and raising her, and that how we both hit puberty at the same time. She hit first puberty, I hit second puberty at the same time. So there was that one. There's been others too.
I feel like it was in like 2005, 2004, 2005. It was definitely about your romantic life. I recall that part.
Was this the Bourne one?
I don't believe that's. I'm not sure, okay. But I don't believe
this wasn't the erotica. Okay, yeah, it wasn't at least one that was trans erotica, so it's not that one. All right, you would have remembered that one, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, either way, your diverse life and like some of the ways that you have helped like reimagining the way family can look, reimagining for some people the way bodies are, the way that like you can be with creation and the world. I remember that being kind of like major themes of what sort of drew me to your life and your artistry. And I'm curious how have it's been a long time since I saw that film, maybe 20-ish years ago. Like, how have you been navigating things? How's it been going for you and your family?
Well, we're all getting older. We're all getting older and more disabled. And that over the past 20 years, due to um, my intersex condition is not my only genetic problem, only my only genetic difference, and some of them are. I have a stack of genetic illnesses this thick, and so I've become more disabled as time goes on, which led me into disability activism because I'm that sort of person, and but we're still going strong. We're still doing stuff. We're still loving. Obviously I'm poly, and I am a part of being a shaman is being a builder of bridges and crosser of boundaries and walker between worlds. And so all these things that I do, I bring them to each other. I'm the bridge between them. I handshake them. I introduce them. I am the one who infiltrates this with that and that with this, and so everywhere I go, I'm some sort of subversive and some sort of upsetting people. So I've been a troublemaker for a very long time, and I'm still a troublemaker.
That's amazing. I love that the ways that you've navigated the world are like so diverse. I wonder if you don't have to name all 49 titles of the books, but are there like 3 or 4 that are like diverse enough to give people a sampling? So that they can like tickle their curiosity and go find more.
Well, the 2 books that are actually on trans stuff is I did Hermaphrodites, the Transgender Spirituality Workbook, which is in its 2nd edition now. And because I had to expand it because there was more people and so forth. And I put that out because nobody, way back when, 25 years ago, nobody was talking about trans spirituality at all. And in fact, mostly it was, well, religion is awful because it hates us. And it's like, no. There's a lot more out there. There's a lot. And then there's a lot of history and so forth. And then I also put out one called Double Edge, the intersection of transgender and BDSM, which is like, how do trans people approach kink differently? How do we do that? And how do we navigate that? And that one has a lot of interviews with different people, like including my friend Lee Harrington and stuff like that. And then I've written 17 with my partner Joshua. I've put together 17 books about having healthy, sustainable power dynamics. Doing that in a realistic, healthy, teamwork kind of way. A cooperative way, not an adversarial thing, not a fetish porn thing, just like how do we do this? And I've done books that cross that and spirituality and that and queerness and that and disability and this kind of thing. So and then I've written a whole lot of books on shamanism and animism and pagan stuff, astrology, pagan stuff, and I always try to work in stuff about gender, stuff about disability, stuff about the ways in which our bodies and our relationships with our bodies can be made better by our relationship with the earth and vice versa, even when things are imperfect and difficult. So there's a lot of crossover, and I like that. That's kind of my modus operandi, because I'll get people in talking to each other from different places that never thought they would talk to each other.
It's so good listening to you, Raven, because there's so much about what your intersectionality that I can resonate with. And I've often felt like the person who's doing too many things. And I'm so thrilled that you're just not that you're not doing so many things. You're thriving off of it. It's like who you are, your ability. What I can tell from what we're discussing is your ability to bridge those connections and to make connections with other people seems to be a place where you thrive. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, I'm a multitasker. I do have to be careful. And my partner Joshua, that's his job, is to kind of rein me in with common sense sometimes, because you want to do what are you going to do? You have no time and spoons. What are you going to drop in order to do that? I've got a prison ministry. I've got all these all this spiritual work. I founded a shamanic guild, and I take apprentices and I teach them, and I run rituals for my church. It just goes, and I teach, and it goes on and on and on. And he periodically just says, hey, you gotta, that's too much. You need to cut back. You're going to make yourself sick. And so it's hard though, because I want to do all of it. And I have done so much of it and he and I work very well together. We have sort of a streamlined team, and he's the detail guy. I'm the big picture guy, and he's the detail guy. And so we work really well together. So I do get a lot done. I do manage to get an awful lot done. I multitask very well. I keep things, I'm able to see the big organized picture very well. I build systems very well. But sometimes I run myself into the ground. It's true. I do. Joshua found a meme and that he printed and stuck on my computer, and it had a blonde Viking on it with the hair and the blonde hair and the beard and the helmet and the big sword and everything. And it said, pick your battles. Pick fewer battles than that. That's still too many battles. Put some battles back. Like, this is you. And he put it on. He taped it to my computer. So yeah, that's
some serious love and partnership there. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you're. Yeah. And I love your use of spoons, because I learned about the spoon logic in Chicago. So maybe this is an East Coast thing. Maybe that's why the West Coasters are like spoons. What are you talking about?
No, it's a lupus thing. I do have lupus.
Okay.
And it was the spoon theory was actually created by a woman who had lupus, and I heard it when it first came out because I was on the lupus boards and so forth. And so that I've been using that ever since, because with lupus it is a matter of getting up and saying, how many spoons do I have today, and you never know. So
absolutely
doing all this disabled them with a chronic illness too is part of the problem.
Absolutely. So what does healing look like for you? What does wellness like? Where is your space in all of that?
I'm an herbalist, and I have my own herb garden in the front yard, and I make my own medicines. And I'm a difficult patient for my doctors, in that I'm the sort of patient who comes in and brings in studies and holds them up and says, so I'm taking all these herbs and supplements, and I don't want to hear what you think I ought to be taking. I want you to just run the test, tell me what, and I'm fixing the problem. And I have gotten a lot of good results with that. It's not that I don't take any medications. I do, but I really look at my health and wellness. I'm such a deformed mutant. I really am. I'm such a deformed mutant, and I have so many things wrong with me, and I've had so many things wrong with me from a very young age, that I'm used to being the zebra. I'm used to being kicked out of doctors' offices because they don't know what to do with me, because this condition affects that one and so forth. And so I feel like I'm the general of this army. I'm going to run this thing. I'm going to deal with my own wellness. I have a very rigidly restricted diet, because I'm controlling multiple disorders with it. And I eat a lot of organic food, and I keep my chemical load low, because that helps the lupus. And I take a lot of herbs, and not just like I pop pills, but I have plant friends that I talk to, in my yard and in my woods. And I work with their spirits also to help me. And I have had at least 2 near-death experiences, and there are medical professionals who feel I should be dead, and I'm not dead. Mm-hmm. And part of that, I'm just stubborn, but part of it is because I take wellness seriously, and I look at what my body wants, not what people think it should want, but what it actually wants, what works for me. I experiment, I try things. I don't get wrapped up in fads. I just I consult my allies, and they do not steer me wrong. And I get out, and owning land is very important to my health. Being able to get out and walk in my woods, and it's important to my mental health to be surrounded by physical beauty at any time of the year, and just walk out the back door, and there I have 19 acres up against conservation land, so I have a great deal of just physical beauty, and that is a cornerstone, to my wellness. Also, I don't exercise for exercise's sake. I take walks in the woods. I take walks on my property. I chop wood. I garden. I have 3 gardens, so I do things. I move. even though I have a lot of arthritis and so forth, and some days I can't get out of bed, but if I can get out of bed, I'm going to be doing practical, working with my hands things.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the wellness spiel.
No, it's incredible. And it sounds like, you're building your chosen family around you and you have all that wonderful support. And where do you guys find time for joy and celebration? What does that look like in your life, especially during some of the challenging times that we're having in our society?
Oh, it's insane right now. It really is. My poor wife, I mean, she's a non-passing trans woman. It's rough. It's really rough out there. And she's got an anxiety disorder to begin with. And so her anxiety is just through the roof. And so we have to do a lot of, it's okay, sweetie. It's okay. We're all going to get through this together. That's really hard. But joy for me, my church brings me joy. My pagan church. I'm a musician, and I'm the leader of the director of the choir of the pagan church choir, and so that's a lot of fun. I get joy from teaching. I go all over the place, like all over the country, and sometimes I've been to Canada, I've been to Europe, and so forth. Teaching all kinds of things, everything from shamanism to kink to alternative relationships to herbalism, all this stuff, everything. I love doing that. That really brings me joy to get out there and teach people how to have better lives. Just talk, because then inevitably people do contact me later often and say that was, my life is now different, and thank you so much. So, and I love writing. I would write anyway. I started writing when I was a kid. I was attempting to write the great novel when I was, 10. And so writing is very joyful for me. And also we have family hobbies that I do to spend time with my loved ones. It's sort of like I will take part in their hobbies. My wife is really into Revolutionary War reenacting, and so yeah. So for her, I will
Cool.
Go and be the company's an 18th century surgeon and horrify people with discussions of that. And my daughter and son-in-law are really into Renaissance reenacting, and so I do that with them. And that's pretty much just family activities, a place I can have that. And of course, my spirituality is a huge, huge part of what brings me joy. Just being with the spirits of earth and air and fire and water, and with my gods. And I'm a speaker for the Trans Dead also. And so there are many, many points of joy in my life, and my partners are my biggest points of joy. I mean, bar none. My partners are wonderful, and I've got my two primary partners, and I've also got two friends with benefits who've been around for, I think, 15 and 30 years respectively. So I'm now pretty much polyfidelitous, in that it would take someone incredibly special to make me put any effort into adding somebody new. And it's like I'm good. I got enough. So that's joy. There we go. Oh, Zander has just come on. Hi, Zander.
Yeah, welcome,
Zander,
Zander.
you're here. Welcome.
Hi,
Yes.
Raven. Yeah, but it's good to see you. It's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed most of your, the information you provided. I'll have to watch back, but let me go ahead and just sort of close us out, so to speak. What we'd really love to hear from you now is, where can the listeners find your work, and how can they support your mission? Just tell people where they can find you, how they can support you.
Okay. My hub website is ravenkaldera.org, and everything is off of that. If you want to see my pagan books, you want to go to Asphodel Press, and then if you want my Kink and Power Exchange books, you want to go to Alfred Press, and those are just like it is, alfredpress.com, and also you'll note if you want to throw money at me, there's a donation button on the Raven Kaldera website, and also I have a Patreon. I'm Raven Kaldera at Patreon. And also on the Asphodel Press site, somewhere on there is a button for donating to the Prison Project, which is me. I'm denazifying people who practice Northern tradition religion in prison. I've put out a book that's just for inmates on my faith, that is non-racist, non-sexist, and everything like that. And we want to get it into the hands of all the chaplains who are open-minded enough to accept it. And also I have a lot of, we send them paper altars. We do a lot of prison ministry. So that's another thing. But if you just want to, like, you know, buy me I don't drink coffee. You can't have caffeine. But if you wanted to, like, buy me some herbal tea, just the donation button on ravenkaldera.org is great. And it'll all go towards, and also, you know, I have a mailing list, and I tool around the country. If people want me to come teach on anything, just organize it and have myself and my partner. I need Josh along because he handles the suitcases and everything else, and is my PCA and keeps me healthy, and is my co-presenter on all the kink and alternative relationship stuff. But if you want me to teach in your area, it's doable if you organize it and can, you know, fundraise to get us plane tickets and put us up in somebody's bedroom that doesn't have cats and dogs. Good luck with that. But yeah, I go around and I've taught, I think, in 37 states so far. So maybe eventually it'll be 50. I don't know if anybody in Wyoming or Montana ever wants me, but there we go.
We'll work on that. That will be okay. Yeah. New mission: people in Wyoming and Montana,
or wherever, you know, Oklahoma. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So there's that. So buy my books. Give my books to people who are getting into this stuff, and give them as you know, holiday gifts, and that will help, because I don't have a regular job. I'm disabled. I don't have a regular job. This is what I do: is I teach and I write books, and I make special prayer beads for people and stuff like that. And most of what I do, I don't get paid for. It's just service to the community. It's just out of love. And so we scrape by. So help us scrape by.
Yeah. That's a beautiful way to put it. We normally say that we always give our guests the last words. If there's anything that you want to say, is there anything left that you think is in need of coming out at this moment?
Sure, because I'm a woo-woo guy. You're going to have to put up with some woo-woo here. I would like trans people to remember that we are sacred, just for being who and what we are, for being that point in between male and female, for being that is sacred ground. That is very important sacred ground. And we have a history of being of sacredness, and we have our own mysteries. And just remember that. Remember that when you walk this path, you walk a sacred road where many have walked before. And just because, you know, the last 1,000 years it's been put down doesn't mean it isn't a path of spirit. Like it can be again, like it was before. All you have to do is decide it is for you. So there's my last word.